Hi, this is Eric from longboxreview.com. Welcome to the show. Hey, it's time to take a look at some advanced solicitations because there were some interesting things that I saw as the various publishers were releasing this information. So let's just get right to it, shall we? I'm going to start with, let's see here, Dynamite's April 2016 solicitations. And so there are some interesting things here. First up is the Gold Key Alliance. It's a 5-issue miniseries. And I only mention this because of the characters, the Gold Key characters that I remember seeing in the Gold Key comics. I never actually got these comics. I never actually read them. But I was always interested in them. So you got Turok, the Dinosaur Hunter, Magnus, Robot Fighter, Solar, Man of the Atom. Interesting how they all have one-word names and then these multi-word adjectival phrases, and the Mighty Samson, which is the odd duck from the word side of things. Anyway, so they're, I guess, putting all these characters together. Looks like a lot of fun. Although I don't know, I'll probably if I get this, I will wait for the trade, I guess. But I thought I'd mention that. It just looks interesting to me just based on the whole Gold Key concept. And speaking of taking some properties and kind of squishing them together, here is the Shadow back for another series, but this time they're putting him in the Twilight Zone. So it's called The Twilight Zone, The Shadow. It's a 4-issue miniseries. Let's see here. It's got a Francesco Francavilla cover, but he's not doing the main art. And if he were, I might be really tempted to pick this up. Every time, though, I try the Shadow out, I'm kind of not wowed, and so I don't continue with it. What is with the Xena Warrior Princess love lately? Because there's a new series, it looks like, with Greg Land and Jenny Frison 50% covers. Anyway, that was a series I never got into when it was on television, and so I'm really curious why now. Why the comic book? I know there was some talk about relaunching Xena with different actors doing stuff, but I don't know what happened with that. But it's curious how these things keep coming back. Oh, here's... I only mentioned this because of my disappointment, but from the previous volume, but Miss Fury Volume 2. It's a new number 1, a new series featuring that character. I tried the first few issues of Volume 1 of this, and it was just a mess, and so I didn't continue with it. But the character herself really interested me, so I'm always kind of curious about that character. It's got an interesting cover by one of the interesting covers. I don't see who it's by. It's kind of a red and black cover, but I like the look of it. Ooh, this is something I might have to get at some point. The complete Alice in Wonderland softcover. This is adapted by Leah Moore and John Reppion with art by Erica Awano. It's 184 pages. I've always liked the Alice in Wonderland story. I guess I'm mostly thinking of the Disney movie, but that's always been one of my favorite animated movies that Disney ever did. So I would like to read this, and maybe, depending on how appropriate it is, it does say the rating is all ages, but it might be something that I would let my my girls read. We shall see. The somewhat new James Bond series by Warren Ellis has reached issue number 6, which means that I will be getting the trade. Hopefully, maybe. I might be seeing the solicitation for the trade in the May solicitations. Oh, here we go. I found it. That Miss Fury cover is by Tula Lotay, and it's called the Virgin Art Edition. It looks pretty cool. All right, so moving on to Boom Archaea's April 2016 solicitations. Okay, so here's a new miniseries. It's called Joyride. And the reason I'm pointing this out is because the artist is Marcus To, and I have been following him on Instagram and loving the stuff that he's posting. So I'm really interested because of him. But then I read the solicitation text, and I'm going to read this. And this is, to me, this is just my opinion, of course, but to me, this is how not to get me interested in a new comic. So what it is, in the future, Earth sucks. Okay, you got me right there. That's kind of a nice tagline. The stars have been blocked out for so long that people have forgotten there was anything else besides the dumb World Government Alliance watching over them, training children to join the militarized Allied youth, and eliminating all resistance with a giant ray gun. Uma, Acolyte, they spell it Akkolyte, is a girl who shoots first and leaps before she looks, and when she gets a strange message from outside the barricades of Safe Sky, she jacks a spaceship and punches through the stratosphere with an unlikely crew of teens who are totally not ready for what they're about to find. If it wasn't for Marcus To being the artist, I would totally skip this, just based on that text. It just, other than the tagline, it just kind of screams at me like, this is not something for me anyway. It's just too much. There's just too much going on here. Let's see. Kurt Pyers and David Rubin's The Fiction is getting traded here. This is a series that I remember looking at going, I might want to pick up the trade, and here it is. This is the kind of solicitation text that grabs me. What it is, 4 childhood friends discover a box of strange books that, when read aloud, can transport them to the beautiful imaginary worlds described within. But when one of them goes missing, the others vow never to reveal where they've been and what they've seen. Okay, so why is that? Seems kind of odd. Years later, when one of the remaining kids, now an adult, also mysteriously disappears, it's up to the last 2 of the group to dig up their dusty books to find him and finally figure out what happened to their friend all those years ago. Sets up a mystery. It's pretty clear, basically what the plot line is. So, maybe I just like straightforward descriptions of books. All right, so now we have Oni Press, and what they have here. There's a new series called Heartthrob written by Christopher Sabella. And so when I started reading this text, it's a new series about bank heists and thieving hearts. And then I got to this, from writer Christopher Sabella, and then in parentheses it says, "Welcome back." And that is a series that I was getting, that I was totally disappointed with. It was messy and it was all over the place. I couldn't understand what the series was actually about, and it was really derivative of Highlander and other kinds of concepts like that. And so when I get to that, I'm like, I guess I'll have to pass. I hate to say that, but if all I have to go on is the previous work of this person, and I didn't like it, I'm less inclined to pick up something else by them. I do like the sound of this, and I don't know, this looks kind of, it says all ages here, so I like this concept. This is The Mighty Zodiac by Jay Torres and Corin Howell. When the blue dragon dies, 6 stars fall out of the night sky. Ailing Master Long, leader of the Mighty Zodiac, orders his warriors to gather the stars, lest they fall into the hands of the malevolent Moon Rabbit Army. That just sounds cool. With the stars, the mighty Zodiac may yet revive their master, rescue their world, and restore the light. Without the stars, the darkness threatens to divide the tribes and destroy the world of Gaia. I would be surprised if this isn't some sort of movie thing, or will be a movie thing. And one of the covers here shows a bunch of animal characters. Looks like you have an ox, a horse, a boar, a snake, a ram, kitten, a wolf, a rooster, a tiger, and a rat. So it kind of looks like fun. Oh my God. The Sixth Gun returns, number 48. This is by Colin Bunn, Brian Hurd, and Bill Crabtree. Yeah, the end is nigh and the epic conclusion to The Sixth Gun starts here. So we have 3 more issues of this brilliant, wonderful series. It's been, I don't know how long it's been. It's been months and months since we've had the last issue, 47, that came out. And here we are finally getting to the home stretch, and I can't wait to see how this thing ends up. Such a good series. If you haven't tried it out, you really should. Go pick up the trades. Okay, now we're to Image Comics. And Image Comics is determined to take all my money. Let's see. I probably won't get this, but it does interest me regardless. Black Road is a new series by Brian Wood with art by Gary Brown and Dave McCaig. Only because it says here, Northlanders creator Brian Wood returns to the Viking genre in this all-new series. So I know there are a lot of people out there that loved Northlanders. And I guess this is a spiritual sequel, perhaps? Ed Brubaker and Sean Phillips' Criminal gets a 10th anniversary special edition. Oh, so it's a one-shot. First I thought it was a trade. No, it's a one-shot. So it's a twisted 70s noir about a father and son on the run. Also includes articles, illustrations, and behind-the-scenes extras. So I'll be getting that, of course. There's also a magazine size variant. I know some people like that. I've never actually gotten one of those. This is something I'll be getting. Obviously, Lazarus Sourcebook. So following the revelations of the Poison storyline and leading into the bloody events of Cull, with Lazarus number 22 in May, a new look at the world of Lazarus, what it's like to live life under the Carlisle regime. This is where you find out. So those of us who have been reading Lazarus will love to have this source book. And if you haven't been reading Lazarus, why? Why? It's such a good story. Mark Miller's miniseries Huck finally reaches its end, which means probably next month I can order that trade because I wanted to read this story. I know somewhere along the line, I think it was because of Jupiter's, the Jupiter's Circle, and what was the first one? Jupiter's Legacy? Something like that. I kind of started liking Mark Miller, his work. So, and speaking, of course, of Mark Miller and Jupiter's Circle, the Volume 2 series concludes with number 6, which I have been getting, and I've been enjoying that very much. Here's one of those longish running series that I've been enjoying, loving ever since it started. This is Revival number 39. This is by Tim Seeley and Mike Norton, with wonderful covers by Jenny Frison. And speaking of the cover, there is an Amish woman holding a sword, and the text reads, "Em and Dana come face to face with the," wait for it, "Amish samurai." Why would you not want to read this? This Amish samurai who has been hunting them, and the revivers start getting ... hungry. Such a good series, guys. If you're not reading it, again, you should be. If you're a fan of Brian K. Vaughan, and who isn't, and I certainly am, the We Stand on Guard miniseries, collecting issues 1 through 6, gets a deluxe hardcover. That was a really interesting series. I was less than pleased that it was only 6 issues because I felt like we only got just a taste of what this world is like. And it was wonderfully done art by Steve Scroce. You probably should just go get this hardcover or wait for the paperback. Either way, but it was a really interesting story. So on Twitter not too long ago, at the time of this recording, I lamented that there wasn't or I wondered if we were ever going to get a second trade of the series Egos, because again on Twitter someone saw that I posted something about my love of the Legion of Superheroes, and they recommended this series because it was Legion of Superheroes-esque in some ways. And so I bought the first trade. I haven't read it yet at the time of this recording, but I've been very much looking forward to it. And I guess I kind of was waiting to read it a little bit because I knew that there wasn't a second trade out. Well, flash forward a little bit in time, and Damien, Sleepy Reader 666, tweeted something about getting issue number 9, which surprised me because I kind of thought for some reason, I was just making assumptions that the series had just kind of ended and that was it. Maybe the sales were low and we weren't going to get a trade. And then all of a sudden, here's this issue number 9, which apparently is the end of the it's the end for this volume 2 collection. And so that's what we get. We get issues 5 through 9, and what it says issue 4.5, whatever that means. And so that's good because now I can get this volume and read 2 volumes all at once, and that's always a good thing. Pretty Deadly Volume 2, the trade, is coming out, and so I guess I better read the first volume that I got to know if I want to continue with this. And similarly, there is Southern Bastards Volume 3. I just bought Volumes 1 and 2 in stock trades, had them on sale for 50% off, and so I just grabbed them. Because my wife got me for my birthday a gift certificate at that place, and so now I should probably read those and see if I want to continue with that series as well. Thanks a lot, Image, for trying to steal all my money. Okay, what is next? Oh, IDW, some interesting new things coming out. I was never into this series. I think it was at Marvel back in the 80s, I think I want to say. This is Micronauts. But I've heard over the years how good of a title it was. But I've never actually read the Micronauts. I think maybe at one time there was a special 2-issue miniseries where the X-Men and the Micronauts teamed up. Am I remembering that correctly? Anyway, I think I remember reading some Micronauts stuff in some comics that I do not have in my collection currently. Anyway, there is a new series, Micronauts number 1, written by Colin Bunn with David Baldion doing the art and J.H. Williams doing the main cover, it looks like. I probably won't get this, but it's worthy of noting, however. So I'm recording this episode on January 24th, 2016, and this evening is the opening episode of the 6-part X-Files, the return of the X-Files on Fox, on the Fox network. And so just in time for this, I guess, or at least what I'm sure what they think of as the what I want to say here, the immense fan response, I guess, or interest. You get the X-Files number 1. It says on here on the webpage, Spotlight. So 13 years after the original series run, the X-Files has enjoyed a momentous return to television in a thrilling event series from Chris Carter. So now it says Carter and IDW is proud to bring the continuing adventures of FBI agents Fox Mulder and Dana Scully. So what is that? So continuing adventures. So this will, I assume, take place after the events of the 6-part special that'll be on television. So what has been the X-Files seasons that they've been doing? So they just completed, or at least in the same advanced solicitation here, the X-Files Complete Season 10, Volume 1 is being offered. So I don't know what. trying to figure out how these things tie together as far as seasons go, and this new this continuing adventures thing. Kind of confusing to me. Unlike the X-Files, where I'm not really interested in picking up the comic book adventures of the characters, I do read and have read since the beginning the new Star Trek series, which is now up to issue 56 for this advanced solicitation. 56 issues of Star Trek. When that series first started, I did not think it would go more than a year, maybe two, and here we are, 56 issues in. I'm still loving it. It's a really good comic, actually. Mike Johnson is just killing it as far as the stories go. Anyway, this is 56 is the second part of the legacy of Prime Spock. Also is the Starfleet Academy miniseries. There are 5 issues of that, and that is ending, which means I decided to get that in trade, so I'll be getting that, probably ordering that next month. And, because it is 2016 is the anniversary of Star Trek, major anniversary. And there is a new miniseries which I will be getting, and it's called Star Trek Manifest Destiny 1 of 4, with Mike Johnson and Ryan Parrott doing the writing, with Angel Hernandez doing the art. However, there is a subscription variant cover by Rachel Stott, which just looks awesome, and I may get that cover for that issue because it is an homage to the movie poster for Star Trek: The Motion Picture, with the characters' heads in this rainbow pattern, but it's the relaunch guys, Chris Pine and Zachary Quinto, their faces instead of Shatner's and Nimoy's, along with what looks like Lieutenant Ilea here. So I imagine that this series will introduce that character, I guess. I mean, it doesn't say specifically, but maybe the cover is just a play on the poster and that's it, and the character's not actually in it, but that'd be kind of weird. Anyway, I'm rambling. I should mention this is a bi-weekly event, so issues 1 and 2 are advanced solicited here. Oh, geez. So the second variant cover is again a play on Star Trek II: The Wrath of Khan movie poster. So maybe that's just what they're going for, is just to celebrate those past films with these covers, and probably has nothing to do with the actual story. Yeah, it looks like the story itself is actually the return of the Klingons as a major foe in the Trek universe. So, okay, interesting. Anyway, I'll be getting that. I won't wait for the trade on that one. And yet another ending of a miniseries where I am looking forward to the trade being solicited is Gutter Magic, number 4 of 4 by Rich Duke. I want to say Duke. Brent Barkley. So not too long ago, I saw the solicitation in previews for this new series called Gutter Magic, and I'm very interested in reading that story. So that'll be good to finally be able to read that. Okay, so moving on to Dark Horse. And the first thing I see on the page that I'm looking at are the Snoopy flocked vinyl figures. Not that I'm, would get one of these, but I just think it's kind of cool and interesting why they would do this. But here, these vinyl Snoopy, what do they call it? Figures? For some reason, I want to say dolls. These figures, but they're all these different colors. They've got aqua, cinnamon, ginger, mint, orchid, strawberry ice, and white, of course. I don't know. Does anybody actually buy these things? They must, because I've seen these before. So I stopped reading the Buffy the Vampire Slayer seasoned comics a while ago, but here is, it looks like it's I don't think it's collecting anything. I think it's like an original trade here. It's one of those 6x9 books, but it's Buffy the High School Years Freaks and Geeks trade paperback. It's written by Faith Erin Hicks, Yishan Lee on art. So, I don't know. I might pick that up. For you Frank Miller Sin City fans, here is the Hard Goodbye Curators Collection hardcover and limited edition hardcover. Wow. So, I guess the Curators Collection hardcover is $175. And the limited edition hardcover is $275. Oh my God. That limited edition features an alternate cover and is signed by Frank Miller in pencil on a special tipped-in image not included in the regular edition, limited to 500 copies. This version is for the discerning collector. Wow. Signed in pencil. That's... Why? Why not pen? That seems rather odd. Anyway, but I guess if you want the collection with this special thing that's $100 more, and go for it, I guess. Okay, when I was scrolling through these advanced solicitations for Dark Horse, I just kind of went by this thing at first. The cover image struck me, so I came back to it just to see kind of what it was about a little bit. And I started reading the description, and then I got to who's writing it and thought, oh, I should pick this up. This is House of Penance. This is a 6-issue miniseries written by Peter Tomasi. Done and done right there. Ian Bertram is doing the art with Dave Stewart on colors. This is the Winchester House, famous for its original owner's bizarre compulsion to incorporate a multitude of architectural curiosities. Okay, right there, that has a personal connection to me because there was a place that I visited with my good friend Travis when we were in middle school. It was summer vacation, and we were traveling to Wisconsin to spend some time with his family, and they invited me along. And we went to this place in Wisconsin. It was called the House on the Hill, I believe, and it's famous for being gigantic, but every room has some odd thing about it. So one room was covered, wall, ceilings, floors, all in carpet, all different kinds of carpet. There was a room with all these dolls everywhere. It's just an odd collection of things in every room, and it takes you hours to walk through the house. So anyway, so that reminded me of that. But as the bereaved Sarah Winchester's workers toil on stairways to nothing and doors to nowhere, a mysterious stranger arrives. Ooh, and he could make Sarah's demons all too real. Yeah, that sounds like fun. And again, so wow, Dark Horse, way to go. How to Talk to Girls at Parties. This is a 64-page 7x10 hardcover written by Neil Gaiman with Gabriel Ba and Fabio Moon doing the art. So sold. I don't even care what it's about. But I'll tell you, 2 teenage boys are in for a tremendous shock when they crash a party where the girls are far more than they appear. Well, of course, it's Neil Gaiman. But Neil Gaiman teamed up with Ba and Moon. Yeah, I'm there. Okay, on to Marvel. Let's see here. What's going on with Marvel besides the Road to War stuff? Here we go. Black Panther #1. This is by, I hope I'm pronouncing this correctly, Ta-Nehisi Coates with Brian Stelfreeze on the art. Ooh, there's a variant cover by Alex Ross. That'd be cool. It's just, it says a new era for Black Panther starts here. Oh, written by MacArthur genius and National Book Award winner Ta-Nehisi Coates, who has done Between the World and Me, which I should probably check out. And illustrated by Brian Stelfreeze, is a story about dramatic upheaval in Wakanda and Black Panther's struggle to do right by his people as their ruler. The indomitable will of Wakanda, the famed African nation known for its vast wealth, advanced technology, and warrior traditions, has long been reflected in the will of its monarchs, the Black Panthers. But now the current Black Panther T'Challa finds that will tested by a superhuman terrorist group called the People that has sparked a violent uprising among the citizens of Wakanda. T'Challa knows the country must change to survive. The question is, will the Black Panthers survive the change? Oh my God. So this is, it's 40 pages, but it's $5. $5. I have been wanting a Black Panther series for a long time, but I honestly, I wanted it written by Jonathan Hickman because I loved his depiction of T'Challa in what was it, New Avengers, and then later in Secret Wars. I wanted that story. I wanted that characterization, but regardless, Black Panther is one of those characters that just, for some reason, just fascinates me. I'm not sure why, because his power set is not all that cool, really. He's got a great look. I love the aspect of him being a monarch and dealing with that, and how he deals with other people, considering that he's a king of a nation, and he has that responsibility on his shoulders. And I know that the Christopher Priest run of Black Panther from many years ago, I'm getting that in the trades. I've heard that basically is that story that I'm interested in. So I need to go read those, of course, but I probably will be picking up this new series for a while anyway. I sure hope it's not $4.99 going forward, though. I doubt it is, but there's a new Moon Knight, Jeff Lemire. No, thank you. Man, I miss the days when Moon Knight was cool. Yes, you can send your letters to longboxreview@gmail.com. Let's see here. Oh, they have here solicitation for Black Widow #2. I just did my order for March, and I decided to go ahead and get the Black Widow series because it's done by Chris Samney and Mark Waid. So they did such a top-notch job on Daredevil, so I wanted to see what they did with this character. Okay, here's something interesting and possibly kind of annoying. So they have the solicitation for Doctor Strange #7, which has been lots of fun. I did not think I would care for it as much as I did or do, but it is Jason Aaron writing it, so that was that was a no-brainer to me. But then they have Doctor Strange, Last Days of Magic #1. And so Doctor Strange #7 says Last Days of Magic Part 2, and this companion, it says this companion to the Last Days of Magic. Oh, companion. Okay, so I thought it was saying it was the final part of that. So I was wondering why. Doesn't matter now because I was wrong, but I was thinking why would they do that? Why would they continue the story in this one-shot thing? But so it's a companion thing. So they're just telling extra stuff at the same time that they're doing that particular story in the main book. Okay, no problem. This variant cover to the Unbeatable Squirrel Girl #7, I looked at it and thought that is the Unbeatable Squirrel Girl going to beat, what is his name? Going to beat up the Hobgoblin? I don't know. I don't know who that is actually. Kind of looks like him. But does it say anything in here about? No, it's Swarm. Well, I got that totally wrong. Okay. I talked about Mark Miller before with Image stuff, but he has a new miniseries set in the Marvel Universe, I guess. Is this Marvel Universe or is it his own stuff, but Marvel's publishing it? It's called Empress, and the art is by Stuart Immonen. It's a tongue twister. Imagine you're married to the worst bad guy from your favorite sci-fi movie, an alien dictator feared throughout the universe who will kill you if you leave, but you need to escape for the sake of your 3 children. All you have are your wits, your bodyguard, and 3 guns. Welcome to Empress, your new favorite comic. Ooh, I get to read the Web Warriors. I was interested in that series when it was first announced, but I decided to wait for the trade, and now we get the Web Warriors of the Spider-Verse Volume 1, Electroverse. And mostly it's because I want to see these characters together. Spider-Gwen, Spider-UK, Spider-Man Noir, Spider-Man India, and the Porktacular Spider-Ham, but mostly because I want to see Aranya Corazon, who is it says here Spider-Woman. I thought she was Spider-Girl, but maybe she's gotten older. Anyway, this collects issues 1 through 5 and material from Amazing Spider-Man #1. I guess to get us more interested in that. Or maybe it's just actually has something to do with Web Warriors. Anyway. coming out with, I never really got into the New Universe when it was launched way back when, but here is Starbrand New Universe Volume 1 trade. It's got the first 10 issues of Starbrand, or it's got 10 issues of Starbrand and an annual, and Spitfire and the Troubleshooters number 5. I've never heard of that comic. Anyways, but if you were a fan of the New Universe and particularly Starbrand, here you go. All right. Finally, DC Comics. Someone, and I'm sure other people have said this too, but someone I was following on, someone that I do follow on Twitter, made the comparison of Harley Quinn as being DC's Deadpool, and I kind of see that because here we have Harley Quinn and her Gang of Harleys number 1, which is a 6-issue miniseries written by Frank Thierry and Jimmy Palmiotti with art by Morissette. That might be kind of neat, though, to see that art. There's also Harley Quinn and the Suicide Squad April Fool's Special with art by a bunch of people, including Jim Lee. I'm sure there are other Harley comics in here as well. But the I was going to say big news, but I don't know if it is, but there was news recently, and this is one of the things that got me or convinced me to do a spotlight on the advanced solicitations here is the DC's bringing back the Bloodlines concept. So that was something they did a while ago. I don't remember when exactly. Late 80s, early 90s, I want to say. I don't remember. It was something that I never really got interested in, except for one. There was one of those characters / titles. Was it called Anima? Anyway, so here's the Bloodlines. It's a 6-issue miniseries written by J.T. Kroll with art by V. Ken Marion. Let's see. When a meteor crashes to Earth, bringing with it an unspeakable alien presence that terrorizes a nearby small town, of course. Don't they always? The lucky ones die first. As for the rest, they find themselves locked in a hellish struggle for control of their bodies and their minds. This isn't just an invasion, it's an infestation. What would you do if the greatest threat to humanity was hidden away inside you? So, don't know. Not really interested at this point. Justice League finally gets to issue 50 with the conclusion, the 48-page conclusion for $5.99. To the critically acclaimed Darkseid War. So it also says here it doesn't get bigger than this as DC's monthly superhero event comic sets the stage for the next year and beyond. That was an interesting turn of phrase, the monthly superhero event comic. So Darkseid War has been this thing that has been in Justice League. It's not been across the line, which I kind of like, but at the same time, I don't know that it was getting the kind of hype and coverage that it should, because I've been enjoying the hell out of that story. It's been a lot of fun. It reminded me of what fun DC superhero comics could be, which is not what I'm getting out of some of the titles that I've read over the last several years from DC. Oh, so what I thought was a one-shot special because of the TV show apparently is an ongoing thing. Legends of Tomorrow, number 2. So this is 96 pages for $8. So basically, like their DC Comics Presents line, that format. But it's continuing the stories and the folks behind it, Firestorm, Metalman, Metamorpho, and Sugar and Spike, continuing those on. So I got number 1, so I'm guessing I might like number 2. We'll see. These people really need to read the solicitation text. The people that send this stuff out to be published, because I was reading the text for Wonder Woman 51, and it says Wonder Woman returns to Paradise Island in her quest to save baby Zeke. But as she betrays those she loves in her struggle to save Olympus, she slips closer to an abyss in which she may lose Wonder Woman entirely. Isn't she Wonder Woman? That's just an odd turn of phrase. Speaking of issue 51, Superman 51, Peter Tomasi is coming onto that series with art by Michael Janin. Yeah. It's the start of a new chapter in the Man of Steel's life. It starts the epic, I like how they use these hype words, epic 8-part Super League. It's all written by Peter Tomasi, which spans Superman, Batman, Superman, Wonder Woman, and Action Comics in April and May. It says here, his time without powers made Kal-El. Why Kal-El? I have to be honest, I haven't been reading up on what's going on in Superman. I just read Superman, Wonder Woman. And so is he now identifying more with his Kryptonian heritage as opposed to being Clark? I never like that. I always prefer Superman thinking of himself as Clark Kent. Anyway, made him realize that the world is in need of more protectors, more superpowered beings like himself. But where will he find such beings? I don't know. Maybe the Watchtower? I'm poking fun, but it's Peter Tomasi, and I probably will get all of these tie-in issues, all of them. This 8-part story, which I normally don't do. I skipped the Doom storyline. I've been skipping the depowered. I don't know what it's called, but the depowered one. Anyway, I like the description for Batman 51, so I'm jumping back on Batman with issue. I think it was 49 actually, when Bruce Wayne returns to being the Batman. But here is issue 51. Batman has battled everything from the Court of Owls to Mr. Bloom to the Joker. Actually, Mr. Bloom's the last one. Why wouldn't he be last in that list? Anyway, but how does he handle a quiet night in Gotham City? Sounds like kind of fun. There's been news recently, as of this recording, that Snyder is walking away from Batman but going to Detective Comics, back to Detective Comics. So I'm wondering what that's going to be about. I'm sure we'll find out more very soon. So I mentioned Michael Janin on Superman with Peter Tomasi. So Grayson number 19, I know we've been told by Seeley and Tom King that they're coming back to Grayson, but Grayson number 19 is written by Jackson Lansing and Colin Kelly with art by Carmine Giandomenico. Sorry, Carmine. I butchered your name, I'm sure. Part of the reason I love Grayson is that team of Seeley, King, and Janin. So, boy, I hope they don't lose momentum with this creative change. So I recently ordered Green Lantern number 50, just because I just love Green Lantern. I like Green Lantern. I just like that concept, whether it's Hal Jordan or Alan Scott or whoever in Sling in the Ring. I just like the concept of Green Lantern. And I love the Jeff Johns run. I left Green Lantern after the New 52 launched after a while. I've gotten a few things. I got an annual not too long ago. But I got issue 50 because I wanted to see the story between Hal Jordan and his alternate universe version of Parallax. And I see that they're continuing or starting a story in 51 that makes me want to jump back on the series. So who or what are the Gray agents? They're deadly and determined, and they've captured Trapper, Virgo, and Darlene. I don't know who those characters are. The ship in order. Oh, and Darlene the ship, in order to track down Hal. And that's just the start of their campaign to set themselves up as the new law in the universe. Pity anyone who gets in their way. The first of a 2-part story that will usher in a new era for Hal Jordan. Well, maybe I'll be getting 51 and 52 just to see what's being set up, and maybe I'll jump back on Green Lantern. Ooh, I wonder, it just occurred to me, I wonder if DC's going to do anything special with their 50 issue, their numbered 52 issues, considering it was the new 52 when it launched. We'll see next month, I guess. Oh, here's a cool thing. Supergirl it says Supergirl Book 1 trade. Okay, so they're starting the Peter David run of that character from the 90s. The Matrix creation, who mimics Superman's powers, merges with human girl Linda Davers to create a new Supergirl. So it collects issues number 1 through 9, Supergirl Plus number 1, the annual number 1, and a story from Showcase 96 number 8. I might have to get that because I have one of the trades where it was the end of the series where the Linda Danvers Supergirl meets up with the Silver Age version of Kara, and I love that. So I might be wanting to get this and read through if they continue with the series, book 2, etc. I might be getting those. And also, Supergirl Cosmic Adventures in the 8th Grade. It's a new edition of the trade paperback by Landry Q. Walker and Eric Jones. I actually have a copy, but actually I bought it for one of my girls, and I've been holding on to it because I've been reading it. So I should order this for me and give Gabby hers back to her. So that's a lot of fun, that series. I wish that DC would allow Mr. Walker and Jones to do another collection of this character and her story. This is interesting. This is a new book by Paul Dini with art by Eduardo Risso. I kind of think of it in the same vein as It's a Bird by Steven Seagal, but this is called Dark Knight, a True Batman Story. This is a hardcover. Let's see. So the Caped Crusader has been the all-abiding icon of justice and authority for generations, but in this surprising original graphic novel, we see Batman in a new light as the savior who helps a discouraged man recover from a brutal attack that left him unable to face the world. And so apparently Paul Dini was walking home, and he was jumped and viciously beaten within an inch of his life, it says. He had an arduous recovery process, hampered by the imagined antics of the villains he was writing for television. But despite how bleak his circumstances were, or perhaps because of it, Dini also always imagined the Batman at his side during his darkest moments. So you get this autobiographical tale tied in with the Batman and his supporting characters. So, that I probably have to get that because that sounds like a really cool story. And I really like autobiographical stuff by comic creators. So I got issue number 1 of Art Ops because it was part of a bundle from DCB Service, but I didn't continue with it, and I kind of was disappointed about that because I really enjoyed that first issue. Well, the first volume is collected now, so I can read that. It was really cool concept, but mostly I liked it because of the Michael Allred art. Oh, and I highly recommend that you go pick up the Twilight Children trade paperback. This is written by Gilbert Hernandez with Darwin Cook doing the art. What an interesting and lovely looking book this was. It's only 4 issues. It's why are they charging $15? That's kind of excessive. But anyway, doesn't matter. $15 for that book, I would buy that. And that is it. That's all I got for you for the advanced April 2016 solicitations. What are you buying? What are you looking at for April that interests you? Let me know. Let me know by emailing me at longboxreview@gmail.com or just get a hold of me at Twitter. That's probably easier. Either way, or you can just go to longboxreview.com/contact, and there are various ways to get a hold of me. I hope you enjoyed this episode. I will talk to you soon. Thanks for listening. Bye-bye.